Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. Children, Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Alhamdulillah. We have learned in last two lessons, Alhamdulillah, how to read and how to make 28 Arabic letters with a circle and a straight line. There is another thing which is quite interesting. I would like to let you know. During the 4th century of Hijrah, there was a very good katib, writer, a scribe, who used to write this calligraphy, nice. And his name was Bawab. And he was regarded as father of Arabic calligraphy. He has presented a very good method, invented a very good method. And right from the time of this invention, throughout the centuries, people, those who write beautiful Arabic script, they follow that method. And he maintained that with 7 dots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, with 7 dots, one can make all these letters. So if one is going to measure, if you take a thread like this, and if you measure, all of them have got 7 dots. Interesting, isn't it? Yes. And Bawab, during his lifetime, till his death, actually did the calligraphy of the Quran only. Alhamdulillah. Now today, inshallah, we are going to learn how to articulate, how to pronounce these letters. Because these letters are very important. And as you know, that the person of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam received the revelation from Allah. Sayyidina Jibreel brought the revelation. And the way he heard Jibreel reciting, he recited. And his recitation has been followed throughout the generations. Are you not interested to know and to learn and try to bring the same pronunciation as these were recited by the person of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Are you interested to know? Yes, very good. And it's very easy. It's not difficult. A little concentration will help us to articulate as Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam articulated. Now, as you have seen that we have divided these letters into a number of groups. And this particular division, as you can see, has been made because of what? Because of the similarity in the shape. Now, we are going to bring these letters in other groups. And these groups are based on how to recite. What similarity is there between these letters whenever we recite? So, the first group was based on what?
On the similarity of their shape.
On the similarity of their shape. Excellent answer. I'm very happy. Now, we are changing the groupings of these letters. Why we are changing? Because they are not the same when we articulate them, when we recite them. So we change these groups according to what? According to the recitation. according to the articulation. All right. Let us first of all try to see that in Arabic there are 3 long vowels. That is a. I showed you the duration before. A. And then if we make two together, and then e, and then o, oo. So a, e, o. These are sounds, aren't they? They are sounds. Now, Arabs call them as sick. Why they call them sick? Because whenever a person is sick and that person is in pain, then how that person shows his pain? Either he says, ah, ee, ooh, ah, ee, ooh. Am I right? Yeah. So it shows what? It shows the signs of what? Sickness. Sickness. But these are sounds are very important, isn't it? These sounds are very important. So, how are you going to measure, for example, this sound? A, e, o, o. All right? Fine. So, this is what? Now here, just see, a, e, o. Group 1 is composed of these 3 sounds, which I have presented to you. That is what? A, e, o. You know how babies cry? Babies cry. A, e, o, a, e, o. Isn't it? So, babies actually cry in Arabic long vowels. Allah has given us 2 lips. Fine. Now, if you are careful about these lips, just see that upper lip, lower lip. Now, upper lip and lower lip has got dry portion. This is dry, isn't it? And both lips have got what? Wet portion inside, which is wet. Wet, dry. Wet, dry. The same. Dry, wet. Isn't it? Where we find the wet portion? Inside our mouth. Inside our mouth. So, for the articulation of these letters, what actually we need? We need, first of all, our 2 lips. Are you convinced? We need our 2 lips. Then we need our tongue. All of you have got your tongues? Did you bring with you here? Or did you leave your home? Are they with you? Check. All right, they are with you. Very good. So, we need 2 lips and tongue and 2 arches of teeth. Feel with your tongue your 2 arches. They are there, isn't it? Aren't they? Yes, they are there. 2 arches of teeth. The first arch is what? Upper and lower. Upper and lower. Good, good. Excellent, excellent. And what else we need? This mouth cavity, inside of the mouth. Inside of the mouth, which is known as what? Mouth cavity. So we need mouth cavity as well. We also need, for the articulation of these 28 letters of Arabic, the nasal cavity. Nasal cavity. What? The portion which is there inside the nose. Inside the nose. Which is known as what? nasal cavity. So what you need, you see lips, tongue, two arches of teeth, mouth cavity, and nasal cavity so far. And nasal cavity so far. All right? Nasal cavity. Now, you may wonder, what is the function of this nasal cavity? You can understand the need for mouth cavity, isn't it? Inside mouth, you can understand that whenever we speak, we use this mouth cavity, isn't it? Mouth cavity we use. So what's the need for this nasal cavity? Look now, very carefully, look at to my face. Just see now. Look, I'm making sound from my nasal cavity. With what? Nasal cavity. Now look how melodious this sound will be. Oh, you enjoyed. Now, you see, so this nasal cavity is important, isn't it? Because it makes what? It makes melodious sound. Good. Fine. So we need this nasal cavity. We also need what? Our throat. Our throat. This throat. And that is known as gutter. Just see here. Gutter. Throat. Our throat. And this throat is divided into three parts. The uppermost part is number one, then the middle part, and the final part. So this gutter is divided into what? Into three parts. Three parts. And all these three parts are needed. So altogether, how many things do we need for the articulation, for the recitation of these 28 letters of Arabic alphabet? Yes?
Lips, two arches of teeth, mouth, nasal cavity,
Yes, good.
mouth cavity,
Mouth cavity,
tongue,
tongue,
throat.
throat. Yes, very good. Very nice. So, these are the things which are required for the articulation of these 28 Arabic letters. So now let us try to look at our group 2. Group 2 are known as labial letters. And these labial letters are four. That is ba, ma, wa, fa. Let us first of all take what? Ba. Ba. And the best method in order to know from where the sound comes is to make it sakin, ba, and apply a. As you can look at here. We are applying a after making ba sakin. So it will become what? Ab, 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 ab. Now, when we articulate this ab, our two lips are involved. Are you with me? We are using both our lips. So let us see, when the wet portions of the lips meet and then separate while pronouncing the letter. So how are you going to articulate b, ab, ab, ab? The wet portion of the two lips meet together. Ab, 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 ab. Now, coming to the next labial letter, which is m. M. Now, in the case of articulation of m, what happens? The dry portion of the two lips meet together. And the best method is what? To make it sakin and apply what? before. So it will become what? So ab, I wonder whether you have seen little babies. First of all, they cry in long vowels, isn't it? A, E, U. And after some time, they start using their two lips. And what word they make? Either they say mum, 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 ba, 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 mum, 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 ba, 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 ba. Am I right?
Yes.
That's what the babies do. And then the mothers and fathers become very much pleased, isn't it? So they start using their two lips. Two lips. So this is the reason why these are known as what? Labial letters. And in the second lesson, if you remember, I did inform you how to articulate, how to pronounce wa. You make your two lips round and then open. Wa, 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 wa. So the more you are going to make your two lips round and open it and just breathe out wa, wa, wa. So the more it will become what? The more it will become correct. So are you convinced that our third letter wa is also labial letters in which two lips are involved? Are you convinced about it? Yes. So that wa is also a labial letter. That is the third one. Now let us try to take the final one. And that is what? Fa. And the best method to articulate, to pronounce it, and to find out from where this fa comes out is to make it what? Quiescent. To make it sucking. And apply a. So if I make it sucking, af, af, af. Now, just try to see. For the pronunciation of fa, what is happening now? The upper incisors to the edge of upper incisors touches what? The dry portion of the lower lip. Af, 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 af. So are you convinced that this is also a labial letter, isn't it? Yes, good. So tell me now about this ba. Is it labial letter? In which lips are involved, isn't it? Lips are involved. And what about ma? Yes. And what about wa? Yes. And what about fa? Yes. Now, you are going to let me know how are we going to articulate, pronounce, and what is the place of origin of the letter ba. Who can let me know? Come on, who can let me know? Raise your hand. Who can let me know how to articulate, how to pronounce the letter ba? Ba. Ab. Listen very carefully. Ab. Ab. What happens when the wet portions of the lips and then you just breathe out ab, ab. You breathe out ab, ab, ab. All right. Then how are we going to articulate ma? Come on, who can let me know? Yes? Good. Then what happens?
The two dried portion meets together.
Yes, the dried portions of the lips meet together. And in the case of wa, what is happening now? In the case of wa, come on.
We make our lips round.
Round. And then we open it by breathing out, isn't it? Wa, 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 You see the children, the more we are going to make our lips round, the more the sound of wa will be correct. Now, who can tell me how to articulate fa? Now that, yes, how to articulate fa?
The teeth has to touch the dry part of
Lower lip, isn't it? Lower lip. Yes, fa. And then breathe out. F, F, F. Now let us go back. When just make it sakin, ba, ma, wa, and fa, and try to articulate. Are you ready?
Yes.
Let me first articulate, and then you should follow. Now you know how to articulate these 4 letters. Which are these letters? Labial letters. These actually come from what? Lips, in which 2 lips are heavily involved. So, I'm articulating, and if you could follow. Ab, ab, um, ow, 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 f, 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 F. Good. How many aerial letters are there? 3. A, E, U. A, E, U. Fine. And then we have also done the group 2. Can anybody let me know what is the group 2? Yes?
Group 2 there were 4 letters.
Yes. And they are known as what? Labial letters.
Labial letters.
Why they are known as labial letters?
Because we pronunciate with the lips.
With the lips. Yes, much emphasis is there on the lips, on 2 lips. This is the reason why they are known as labial. How many letters are there? Labial letters. Yes, over there?
4.
4 letters. Which are they? Which are they? Yes?
Wow, ba, fa, mim.
Yes. Ma. Ba, ma, wa, fa. Now, what I suggest, let us turn to our Qari and try to listen very carefully these letters, how an expert Arab Qari from Morocco has articulated it. Them, all these letters, starting from group 1 to group B. And once he has completed, then we will just proceed to group 3. So please listen very carefully this
Exercise number 10. Group 1.
A, E, U.
Group 2.
Ab, 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 am, ow, f, ab, ow, f, ab, ow, f, ab, ow, f.
Good. Now we should just go to this group 3. Group 3 has 6 letters. How many? 6 letters are there. And we articulate them, we pronounce them from our throat. That is known as gutter. Now if you just look very carefully, this figure here, this is gutter, and it is divided into 3 parts. 1, 2, and 3. Take your index finger, all right. Now, put your index finger on top of the gutter. Then at the middle, and then at the end. All right? Fine. Now, I'm going to articulate because these three places, from each place, two letters originate, come. All right? So, I'm articulating first of all a, h. Now, please let me know from where they come. Yes?
First section and her comes from the third section.
All right, sit down. As a matter of fact, both this a and h from the bottom here. So, you may feel it. If you put your this index finger, you may feel the vibration in your you are feeling the vibration, aren't you? You are feeling the vibration. If you don't feel vibration here with your index finger, then something is wrong in your pronunciation, in your articulation. Then let us take the second pair, and that is Ain Ha, Ain Ha, Ain Ha, Ain Ha. Now, if you put your index finger at the middle portion of the gutter, now that is the place from where they originate both. Ain Ha, Ain Ha. Do you feel the vibration? Yes. Now that is the place from where Ain Ha, Ain Ha, Ain Ha originate. All right. Now when we have treated a ha, Ain Ha, then what remains? Ghain Kha, Ghain Kha, Ghain Kha. So they both come from where? From the top of the throat. From the top of the throat. Now, don't you feel this? Ghain Kha, Ghain Kha. Now, I think it's a good idea now to go back to our Moroccan Qari and try to listen to his voice and have more confidence pertaining to these letters. All right? Listen to the Qari.
Group 3.
A, 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 a,
Good. Now, let us try to go to the next group. In the next group, that is group 4, there are two letters. First is Qa and second is Ka. Now, for this Qa, understand how we articulate this Qa. I don't know whether you have opened the cork of a bottle. If you forcefully open the cork of the bottle, not this cork, but the proper cork which is inside. If you open that cork of the bottle, then it gives you what? Clicking sound. Clicking sound. clicking sound comes from the bottle. You know why it comes from the bottle? Because the compressed air in the bottle finds the passage when we forcefully open that cork. Then we get a melodious sound from the neck of the bottle, from the mouth of the bottle. And likewise, you can see that this actually forms a bottle. Our two lungs are here, and then that is the top end. Now, when we compress this section, and then try to forcefully open it, so the compressed air in this passage finds the passage, come out. This is the air which is confined here. You see, because we block this and we open. When we open, it gives that clicking sound. Like if we make, for example, this caw, 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 caw. And if I make it quiescent, ok, ok, ok. I hope you realize that why we get this clicking sound. So that clicking sound should be made by blocking this passage and forcefully bringing out what? Bringing out the compressed air. Okko, okko, okko. Good, class. Now, when we come to this ka, you see, now here no force is used. The passage here is not blocked completely. It's soft. Ak, ak, ak. But in the case of ka, it is blocked. This passage is blocked. But not in the case of ka. Ak, soft. Ak, 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 ak. Now, listen to me very carefully. Both these. I'm going to just articulate both of them. All right? Ak, 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 ak. You see the difference in the articulation of ka and ka? Now, let us go back to our Qari and see how he articulates.
Aqua, 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 ak, 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 aqua, ak, aqua, ak, ak, aqua, ak, aqua.
Alhamdulillah. You have noted what? The difference between ka and ka. Aka, aka, aka. Good. Now let us try to go to the next group, and that is group 5. And group 5 includes 3 letters, and these are Jim, Sheen, and Ya. Jim, Sheen, and Ya. Now let me show you easy method, very easy method. Precisely, this is our tongue. This is our tongue. All right? And you are aware of mouth cavity, aren't you? Yes. Now, in the mouth cavity, the upper portion, you can touch with your tongue, is hard. Isn't it? Yes, it's hard. And just touch with your tongue with the lower portion, soft, soft. So now, upper portion known as hard palate. Hard palate. Hard what? Hard palate. Hard palate. Excellent. So then what happens? If this is our tongue, the middle portion of our tongue touches the opposite portion of the hard palate. All right? Can you touch? Nobody would know. Touch with the middle portion of your tongue, the opposite portion of what? Hard palate. And that is what actually happens when we articulate these three letters. Which are they? Jim, Sheen, and Ya. Jim, Sheen, and Ya. Now, in order to have more confidence in that, we just make them quiescent, sakin. So, if we make Jim sakin, it will become what? Aj. Ash. Ash. Ay. Ay. Now, do you realize that what is happening? The middle portion of the tongue touches what? The opposite hard palate. Now, in order to have more confidence, why not we summon our Qari?
edge, 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 ash, 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 a, 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 edge, ash, ash, a, edge, a, ash, edge.
Alhamdulillah. Now we can take group 6. Group 6 contains 3 letters, Ra, Na, and La. Ra, Na, and La. Now, what happens? Let me explain to you. This is the tip of the tongue. Tip of the tongue. When this tip of the tongue touches the opposite portion of the hard palate, then it is possible for us to articulate, to pronounce these 3 letters. So, if we make them quiescent, sakin, and apply a to them, then it is possible for us to articulate correctly, like ar, 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 an, al. Don't you agree? Whenever I mention to you that the tip of the tongue touches what? The opposite portion of the hard palate. Now let us turn to our Qari.
Group 6.
R, 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 N, 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 L, 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 R, N, L, L, N, R, N, R, L.
Let us go to group 7. Group 7, beg your pardon. Group 7 has got 3 letters. That is what? Ta, da, fa. All these 3 are known as dental letters. Now, in these letters, what actually happens? Tip of the tongue touches the root of the upper incisors. These are incisors, all right? Tip of the tongue touches the root of the upper incisors. Please touch, release. Touch, release. Nobody would know, all right? Fine. And then, for the articulation here, I am now articulating ta, at. Now, let us articulate the second one. Ad. Now, did you distinguish the difference between the articulation of at and ad? At, ad. Now, we are bringing the final one. And it exists only in Arabic. So, we should be very careful about it. And this actually gives what? Broad sound. Alpha. Alpha. If you put your palms on your both cheeks, you see that should puff up. Alpha. Alpha. Fine, good. Now, look very carefully at my face. Look, there is no vibration on my cheek when I articulate the, at. Please, just look at. Just observe. At. No vibration, isn't it, on the cheeks? Then I'm taking the ad. Any vibration on both cheeks? No. Vibration or not? No vibration. Now, I'm articulating what? Pa, upper. Did you feel the vibration? Did you see the vibration? Yeah. So you have to bring that. All right. Let us go back to our expert Qari.
Group 7.
أط 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 أد 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 أت 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 أط أد أت أد أت أط أت أط أد.
Alhamdulillah. We have done this so far. We have covered how many groups? 7 groups. And there are altogether 10 groups. Inshallah, in our next lesson, we are going to cover the remaining 3 groups. But we have now confidence in those groups which we have treated. So, if we try to repeat, starting from group 3, and there are 6 letters, guttural letters. Which are they? Ha. It comes from what? The bottom. Then ain ha. Ain ha. Comes from where? Middle of the throat. Good. And then ghain kha. Ghain kha. Comes from where? Top of the throat. Good. They are all together 6. And we have also treated this our group 6. How many letters are there in group 6? 2. That is ta and ka. Ta and ka. In group 5, we have 3 letters. That is jim, sheen, and ya. And then how we articulate? The middle of the tongue, the middle portion of the tongue, what? Touches touches the parallel upper portion, hard portion of the hard palate. Good. And then we have treated what? Group 6. Group 6 consisting of how many letters? 3. Ra, na, and la. How we articulate? Tip of the tongue touches the opposite portion of the hard palate. And finally, in group 7, we have treated how many letters? 3. Which are they? Ta, da, po. And this isn't it? And then these are known as dental letters. What happens here? Tip of the tongue touches the roots of the upper incisors from inside. Then we articulate at, ad, and uppo. Fine, alhamdulillah. So far we have learned these 7 groups, and inshallah we will continue next time. Barakallahu li wa lakum wal jami'il muslimin. Innahu ta'ala jawadun kareemun malikum barra'ufur rahim. Allahumma salli ala Nabiyyir Rahma wa sallim. O Allah, let the world witness peace, justice, human dignity, freedom, unity, and prosperity.